Chad joins us now with our look at sports.
Bill, what did we do with ourselves today? No hockey on TV, although there was basketball and baseball on that. But yeah, first time in, I think, 10 days that we didn't have hockey going all day. It's kind of weird.
We'll wait for that tomorrow.
Yes, exactly. First round. I guess the actual playoffs begin tomorrow. I don't know. Well, I'm still confused whether we just came from the playoffs or not. Nonetheless, yeah, we'll look ahead, but we'll also look back, talk to a Kamloops native from the Columbus Blue Jackets who reflected on one of the wildest series in that qualification round. You'll hear from him. Also, the draft lottery happening today. We now know who will pick number one. That's coming up. For the first time in 10 days, there's been no hockey on your TV today. Qualification round ended last night with the only Game 5 rather. Columbus doing the rest of Canada a favor by ousting Toronto. Sorry, but not sorry, Leaf fans. The Game 5 win wrapping up the wildest series in the play-in round. Kamloops native Riley Nash had a front row seat as a member of the Columbus Blue Jackets, who now get a rematch with Tampa Bay in the quarterfinals.
He got it on a Toronto change. He takes the shot. He scores!
It was a series that had everything. A pair of 3-0 leads blown by each team, setting up a winner-take-all Game 5. Columbus stormed back in Game 3 after falling behind 3-0, scoring 4 unanswered and winning in overtime. The Blue Jackets appeared in the driver's seat in Game 4, ahead 3-0 themselves with 3:55 left in the series in the bag. Yet the Leafs managed to score 3 to force overtime before Austin Matthews extended the series.
Crazy. After Game 3, when we had the comeback, you're obviously feeling pretty good. Thought we played a really good second half of that game. And then you ride that into Game 4, where we played really well for 55 minutes, and then they have an unbelievable comeback, and it just kind of it's almost like stunning. You don't really believe it.
Even watching the highlights the next day, Nash was astonished it actually happened.
Werenski shoots, he scores!
But like they've done all year, the Blue Jackets picked up their socks and went back to playing their tight-checking game. They shut out the Leafs for the second time in the series to earn the right to move on.
I think it says a lot about our leadership crew and the guys. All year we've been kind of counted out. We weren't supposed to make the playoffs. We had probably 8 or 9 guys hurt at one time. And so it just kind of seems like this group, when it gets really tough, we kind of band together and are able to find a way to get it done.
To the outside, Bjorkstrand scores!
The gritty series win over Toronto sets up Nash and the Blue Jackets against Tampa Bay. It was last spring when Columbus stunned the hockey world by sweeping the President's Trophy winning Lightning.
It's going to be another fun series. It's fun because there's some bad blood there. There's some rivalry, and that's what the playoffs are all about. So it shouldn't be too hard to get up for these games in this series.
Nash says the Blue Jackets shut down Tampa Bay with their stifling defense. It's what they did to contain the Leafs' big three of Matthews, John Tavares, and Mitch Marner. They were held to 13 combined points in 5 games.
The series against Toronto, when we were hard on pucks, when we were aggressive, forechecking, I think that's when we had our most success. Not giving them a whole lot of time and space. They had a ton of talented players. You give any talented guy 5-6 feet to work with, he's going to probably make you look a little silly. So just trying to be as much on our toes as possible and not let the other team dictate the style of play.
But Nash knows the Lightning will be out for some revenge.
I'm sure they're licking their chops that they get us and they get another crack at it. And it's just going to be a fun series. We get another opportunity to try and back up what we did last year.
And for those having hockey withdrawal today, don't worry, the guys are right back at it tomorrow. The Blue Jackets get Tampa Bay, as mentioned, a noon puck drop. Columbus swept the President's Trophy winners, as mentioned last year, trying to pull off another upset. There's also a rematch of the Eastern Conference Final as Boston and Carolina face off. In the West, the Flames draw the Dallas Stars with a 2:30 puck drop. And then the 12th-seeded Blackhawks face the top-ranked Vegas Golden Knights in the nightcap at 7:30. Canucks drew the short end, if you think about it, with a matchup with the defending Stanley Cup champion St. Louis Blues. However, Vancouver did win 2 of the 3 meetings against the Blues, including a 3-1 win back on January 27th. Most recently, of course, Canucks won 3 of 4 after dispatching the Minnesota Wild, while the Blues, coming in as the #1 seed into the hub, went 0-3 in the round robin. The second-seeded Avalanche faced the Coyotes, 11th ranked entering the qualification round. And then in the East, the Capitals face off against their former head coach Barry Trotz and the Islanders. And then the other Canadian team, the Canadiens, face one of the hottest teams in Philadelphia who earned the #1 seed. For teams eliminated in the qualification round, they had something to look forward to today, and that was the second phase of the NHL Draft Lottery. The first phase unveiled that a team from the qualification round would get the #1 overall pick and the chance to pick phenom Alex Lafreniere. The commissioner made the announcement this afternoon.
The first selection in the 2020 NHL Draft belongs to the New York Rangers.
Yes, the New York Rangers winning the draft lottery today. The Rangers just coming off being swept by the Carolina Hurricanes in the qualification round. Last year, the Rangers picked second overall and took Finnish forward Kaapo Kakko. They now have the right, as mentioned, to take Alex Lafreniere, the consensus first overall pick in this year's NHL draft, whenever that will be. Moving to baseball, Major League Baseball has had its fair share of trouble off the diamond with COVID-19. Even before the start of the season, Commissioner Rob Manfred, in partnership with the local health authorities, laid out a set of rules that needed to be followed. Some of them are not, though, including managers storming out of the dugout to argue with umps, something that was strictly prohibited. And then there was this yesterday, these antics in Oakland. Ace center fielder Ramon Laureano was plunked by a pitch, creating a bit of a dust-up at home plate there. But it wasn't until he made his way to first base that things really heated up. Laureano was chirped, as you saw, from the Astros bench. That sparked this brawl between the two sides with the concern about the coronavirus and the league potentially shutting down. Probably not the smartest idea.
This is exactly what Major League Baseball said you absolutely cannot do. Laureano didn't like what he was hearing from the dugout, and he started sprinting right at the dugout.
And that's the problem, no fans in the stands. You hear everything.
The one and only major, the PGA Championship, played out yesterday in San Francisco. And the golf world awoke to potentially the game's next superstar. 23-year-old Colin Morikawa winning by 2 shots over Dustin Johnson and Paul Casey in a tightly contested tournament. Morikawa making a couple amazing shots on the back nine. This one was brilliant. His tee shot on the par 4 16th hole, 294 yards away, as you can see, perfect as it comes. Clearing the trees, landing on the green. He then steps up, makes his eagle. No big deal. It was pretty much the difference in his first major championship.
My caddy was like 278 to the front. And just a good drive for me is going to land just short of that in this weather. It's going to bounce on up. So, he looked at me, he counted it off and asked me what I wanted to do. I told him, let's hit a good drive. And I kind of thought back at 14 at Muirfield. What's different between 14 at Muirfield and this shot? Similar numbers. Wind was a little left, kind of into me, but I knew I had to hit a good one, and stepped up, and those are moments I'm always going to remember. Hit it. JJ actually walked in the tee, and he never really does that. He was talking to the ball a bunch. I don't really talk to it too much, but we were both kind of screaming at it to get a good bounce, and we obviously got a very good bounce, and you just have to capitalize on those shots.
You may have seen the lid coming off the PGA Championship trophy there. Kind of reminds you of a certain Canucks moment from the '94 run. This was Trevor Linden back in the spring of '94 when the Canucks won the West over the Leafs, in the Clarence Campbell Bowl. There's Linden, fired up, so fired up the lid came off when he hoisted it. Certainly a classic Canucks moment. The first of the dominoes in college football has fallen. Last night, the Big Ten voted to cancel their 2020 season due to COVID-19. The effects of the pandemic making the season unplayable in the eyes of many Big Ten presidents. According to reports, the vote was 12-2 to cancel the season. And for more on sports, including that look at from Riley Nash at that series with Columbus and Toronto, and certainly a look ahead to Tampa Bay and Columbus, you can go to our website, cfjctoday.com.